face any of those big guns out there.
Right, Emeka now not ready to face the big guns, but he has muted his desire to face Anthony Joshua.
Well, there is one thing to desire to, fight a big opponent. It's another thing to also have the ability to make a good contest out of it. Rivers United can desire to play Real Madrid. It doesn't mean they're going to beat Real Madrid or maybe Manchester United. It's a desire, you understand? I would like to do this, I would like to do that. But we know these things don't just happen in a flash. You work your way up. Iron Mike Tyson did not just fight, Trevor Bebic for the world WBC crown in 1986. He had to go through so many fights. Tyson was fighting an average of 8-9 times in a year. Because he was beating those opponents quite easily. First round. So he was fighting like every other month. You understand? At the end of the day, when the opportunity came, when they saw that he was ripe for the big one, he was thrown into the mix, and he grabbed the opportunity with both arms. For Fajagba, he hasn't convinced us yet that he has what it takes to even fight somebody like Carlos Takam, Joseph Parker, Charles Martins, who, by the way, was the former heavyweight champion, as a matter of fact. So, not to talk of the likes of Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, or Joshua at the moment. There's a certain young man in the United Kingdom who is making waves. Daniel Dubois. You see that man? You see Tyson of old. I don't think if Ajagba can even stand him now at the moment. So the man has to work first. 14 fights, not enough to begin to challenge for the heavyweight title. So he needs to work first before going for the big one. Build himself up, the confidence. The wins have got to be impressive as well. If you're feasting on dead bodies, you're struggling to even feast on dead bodies then what will happen when you face those big opponents who have seen it all? These are heavyweight champions we are talking about. Deontay Wilder, former WBC champion for 5 years. Tyson Fury, undefeated in his career. He's won all the bets available now. Joshua has got majority of the bets as we speak right now. So, and these guys did not just go there. You saw how you saw the opponents they beat on their way to the title. Even when Joshua lost, you saw the ability to come back in him against Andy Ruiz Jr. It's not something that you don't attain to that level by just talking, by just throwing verbal jabs. You understand? So yes, the future looks bright for our man Ifajagba. I was listening to the Big John the other day. He pointed out something very key. Most of these heavyweight fighters who go on to rule the world, they would have won at the Olympics level. If Ajagba can only boast of a quarterfinal outing at the 2016 Olympics out there in Brazil, so he's not even an Olympic champion. So what is there to even attract other boxers to him? As it were. So at the end of the day, he has to work the work first. Do quite well. As a pro, that's still coming up. Just 14 fights, 11 knockouts. Look at those names that he has beaten. You can't even remember anyone. Save for maybe the one he fought yesterday because it's still fresh in our mind. Or maybe the one that he didn't even throw a punch. Is it Curtis Harper or so?
Curtis Harper.
He didn't even throw a punch. That one, the fastest knockout in boxing history. So no credible name yet. So I think he has a long way to go, and it's a question of time. His desire, impressive. It's good to talk up your chances, but at this point, if you put him in the same ring with Anthony Joshua, I think he'll be destroyed there.
All right, let's move on and talk about tennis. All right, top seed Simona Halep warmed up for next week's French Open by winning her first Italian Open title after opponent Karolina Pliskova retired injured. Romania's Halep led 6-loves 2-1 against the Czech second seed, whose movement seemed from the start. After a 20-minute first set, Pliskova had treatment but could not continue. Halep, who won the French Open title in 2018, has won 14 matches in a row, either side of the enforced break because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The rearranged French Open starts at Roland Garros in Paris on Sunday. Halep will be the top seed at the Grand Slam event in the absence of defending champion Ashley Barty, who does not want to travel from Australia because of coronavirus concerns. On the evidence of her recent form, the reigning Wimbledon champion will be highly fancied to win a third Grand Slam title. In the meantime, that's in a matter of minutes now, 4 p.m. Exactly, we'll get to see Novak Djokovic come up against Diogo Schwartzman. Well, he says he's as motivated as ever and to win a 5th Internazionale d'Italia title, but admits it will be strange facing someone other than Rafael Nadal in the final. The 33-year-old beat Casper Ruud 7-5, 6-3 in Sunday's semi-final, saving 2 set points in the opener as he stayed on course for a record-breaking 36th ATP Masters 1000 crown. Djokovic is currently tied with Rafael Nadal on 35 titles, but the Spanish clay court maestro suffered a shock quarterfinal elimination in Rome at the hands of Schwartzman. However, the world number one, who has faced Nadal 5 times in the final of this competition, will not take Schwartzman lightly after he saw Denis Shapovalov 6-4, 5-7, 7-6 in the other semi-final. Quoting him, he said, "Most of the finals that I reached in the big events on clay, I played against Rafa," he said on his own court interview. "It's going to be strange not facing him." Emeka, let's start with Simona Halep against Karolina Pliskova. Well, I wouldn't exactly know on what part you would look at this one. The first set, 6-love. So it wasn't like she was
the struggle started from the
first set.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's maybe just focus on her games before now. I mean, she went through a lot of names now to actually get to the final. Looking at the fact that she had not played for a while.
The Australian Ashley Barty won last year. I think she's done quite well for herself. 14 wins in a row now. She didn't play in the US Open because of the COVID-19 concerns and all that. And coming back, it looked as if she wasn't away at all, and she picked up from where she stopped before the pandemic and what have you. So brilliant one for Halep, one of those decent players out there, always in the mix, top 2, top 3. And at some point it was when will she win her first Grand Slam? She eventually won. I think she has 2 now. So and at the end of the day, she's got another title, albeit by default, but it doesn't take anything away from her. She will go to the French Open, where she's now even the favorite, because she's coming from a clay tournament where she is champion, and with the reigning champion not around, makes her the favorite. But these things don't work that way, we know. You understand?
Especially when it comes to the ladies.
Yeah, exactly. And when it gets to the Grand Slams, we thought Serena Williams would have capitalized in the US Open. She didn't. Pliskova was the top seed at the US Open. She was knocked out in the second round there. So, it's neither here nor there. Let's see what happens from Sunday when the French Open eventually starts. But for Halep, brilliant one for her. Boosts her confidence and puts her in a very good mood going into the is it third major now? Third major of the year, yes.
Emeka, let's come to the Serbian now. Novak Djokovic is in the final. Nadal is out. A shaky start to the clay court season for the master himself. Can Nadal defend the French Open this year?
Superman, this is not the first time Nadal, has
been
beaten. Exactly. Or even other tournaments. I know he's won 12 Monte Carlo Masters on clay. He has equally done well in Madrid and the Rome Masters, where he has won 9 times. But this time around, he was shocked by Diego Schwartzman in the quarter-finals. I wouldn't read too much meaning into it, because this is just a preparatory tournament going into the big one. Okay, the big one comes up starting from Sunday. We'll see how the draw will pan out, maybe by Friday or so, and we'll see the route to the final. Of course, definitely being the second seed, he will be separated from Djokovic until the final if they continue winning. So I still think he has a very good chance of winning a 13th French Open title, in spite of his lackluster per se performance at the soon to be concluded Rome Masters. Yes.
Well, in red hot form, Emeka, he's coming up against Diego Schwartzman. We were even saying this when he was disqualified. I mean, at the Grand Slam. Now, the man had not done anything wrong when it comes to his playing on the courts. It had to be the external incidents. Now, Emeka, with that kind of form, is going to come up against Diego Schwartzman later today, just in a matter of minutes, 4 p.m. exactly. Any chance for Schwartzman in this one?
Well, he will be banking on what he has done so far already in the tournament. You beat Nadal on clay. That's big news anywhere, anytime, any day. You understand? Because that's where he reigns supreme.
And he went on to defeat Shapovalov
exactly in the semi-finals to book his place in this evening's final. So, I think he has a good chance.
Okay.
You never can tell. These things happen. You tip a particular player to go all the way to beat a particular opponent, and all of a sudden there's a shock. nobody, saw Nadal losing to Diego Schwartzman. I can't remember anybody doing that. Schwartzman has never beaten Nadal before, and Nadal eventually lost to him on the day and on his favorite surface. Now, a lot of people say, Nadal has been away from the sport and what have you. But starting, in the commencement of the tournament, he had a bye in the first round. In the second round, he was up against Pablo Carreño Busta.
Yeah.
He won 6-1, 6-1. I mean, that's. And we are talking about the Carreño Busta that just reached the semi-finals of the US Open not quite long. So he didn't show any lethargy at all. The second match, he also won by dropping just 4 games as well to book his place in the quarterfinal, where he eventually lost to the Argentine Diego Schwartzman. So Schwartzman has done quite well for himself. I think he has a good chance of upsetting Djokovic in the final. But this is Djokovic we are talking about. He can beat anybody on any surface on his own day. So I will put my money on Djokovic to win. But I won't be surprised if Schwartzman is eventually causes that upset.
All right, so we do wish both of them all the best, whoever wins that one. But Novak Djokovic up against Diego Schwartzman, and as Emeka informed you earlier, and as we talked about, Karolina Pliskova could not actually hold her own, retired due to injuries, and Simona Halep is the champion of the Italian Open. The French Open comes up in about 6 days' time, and we know how inconsistent the ladies might be, but it means Simona Halep is definitely the favorite, and she's the top seed to going into that one. Let's talk football. All right, and we start off in England, where it was an exciting and packed weekend. But before we go to what happened on the field of play, we'll talk about the news that broke out just a few hours ago. Man City midfielder Ike Gundogan has tested positive for coronavirus. The 29-year-old is observing a 10-day self-isolation, the Premier League club confirmed. As a result, the German international will miss City's opening league game of the season against Wolves later today. Quoting City, everyone at the club wishes Ike a speedy recovery, Man City said in a statement. City winger Riyad Mahrez and defender Aymeric Laporte previously tested positive for COVID-19 but are now back in training. Pep Guardiola's side are also due to play Bournemouth in the Carabao Cup on Thursday and Leicester City in the Premier League on Sunday. Emeka, we've seen 2 or 3 players go out for COVID-19. Isolate, what have you, but 2 have recovered now, Laporte and Riyad Mahrez, and Ike Gundogan joins the list. Have we suddenly forgotten that COVID-19 transmits at the slightest of opportunities?
Well,
because everybody's just going on. Nobody's even talking about the league, the whole Man City squad being suspended, but 3 players have tested positive over the past 2 weeks. And we are still going on and moving on it doesn't really hold. COVID-19 no longer has any.
No, but over there, you have to also give it to the Premier League. They are conducting tests on these teams even while the league is on. That's why you see these positive tests being returned by some of the players and officials, as it were. It's not as if they're ignorant of COVID-19 or how fast it could transmit from one individual to the other. But the thing is that they are also putting measures in place to ensure that they curtail the spread there. The fans are not yet back in England. Of course, the case study here now is England.
Yeah.
The fans are not yet back. The measures are still in place. The protocols are still there. Somehow you can't be too careful. I mean, these players will go home. They will have interactions with 1 or 2 persons outside. They are not in the bubble in the Premier League. They're not in the bubble, so you can't say what they are doing, at home and all that.
Yeah.
So chances are that they might come in contact with infected persons, and at the end of the day, that's where we are right now. But going forward, it's not something that is new these days. Every other week you hear a high-profile player testing positive. The other time it was for Pogba, and what have you. Players are testing positive here and there. So and the good thing is that this is not a death sentence, as it were. Yeah. And especially for younger people like footballers these days, you see that after some time they return negative tests and they are back to the team, and football continues for them. So it's not too much of a worry, as it were. Otherwise, look at where they were at some point. The cases were too high in Spain, France, the United Kingdom. They are still, the numbers are still increasing. But somehow they are still playing football. Football is back. In Germany, they were able to control it. They restarted the league first, ended first as well. So, it's something that you also have to praise the authorities for their proactivity and their ability to manage the situation and, bring the game to a conclusion from last season. Even UEFA borrowed the leave going to Portugal to wrap up the Champions League.
Yeah.
And in Germany, they were able to also do that for the Europa League. So, I think they've done quite well to also control the situation there. And things are beginning to open up. The Euro Masters you're talking about, fans were allowed to watch.
Even in Strasbourg,
exactly.
the one that's currently ongoing.
And the French Open, they will take at least 5,000 fans every day. It was supposed to even be 11,000 fans, but somehow, they reduced that to 5,000 fans, starting from Sunday when the competition gets underway. So somehow, things are beginning to open up, and we hope that it can only get better. And when you watch sporting events, it will look like sporting events.
Okay.
When I'm watching football,
training.
I hear the sound of the ball. I hear the players talking. I should be getting the ambience from the fans in the stadium. That's what we are used to, not playing on empty
or screen
stadiums.
fans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Emeka, let's bring it back home. Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo yesterday announced the return of professional football as part of a loosening of restrictions following a fall in the number of coronavirus cases in the country. Although their beaches, bars and cinemas and nightclubs will still stay shut, but football is back in Ghana. And Emeka, the UK, people are testing positive to what they're going on. And Ghana are closed-door neighbors. They've also decided to kick off their own football activities. What is happening to Nigeria and the Nigerian Professional Football League?
Well, I think it's down to the authorities here in the country. It's basically down to the authorities. Remember, about 2 weeks ago or so, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, did in their usual weekly briefing, did say that the ban has been lifted on contact sports. But somehow, I don't know where the misinformation came from. The same Presidential Task Force came back and a few days later to say, no, that's not the case, that the ban is still in place. At the point when they said the ban has been lifted, you saw movements, clubs started calling back their players to resume and all that. Even Rangers invited their players to come back for camping. You saw the movement. The clubs were getting ready. The protocols were out from the Ministry of Sports down to the NFF and to the LMC. The clubs, there was an action plan already from the LMC. They wanted, they had a plan to commence the league. They were looking at even October, that's next month, to commence the league and all that. But the later information from the PTF eventually put paid to their plans to return to football in the country. So it's down to the authorities there. Okay. For the LMC, yes, they might not be 100% ready, but there's an action plan. NFF, there's an action plan. This is how we intend to go about it. Remember, there's the issue of club licensing, where the clubs will have to meet up with the regulations and all that. There will be spot checks here and there. You go to the stadiums, check if they have the facilities ready and all that. Check different stuff as far as the club license is concerned before you even think of playing football. Then there should also be coronavirus test, because the reason we're not playing football today is because of coronavirus. So the club should also conduct this test. So all these things put together, and with a plan going forward, then we will be good to go if the authorities give the go ahead. But the authorities have not even given the go ahead. You are saying the Ghana president has lifted the ban, but that is not the case here in Nigeria. The PTF they haven't lifted the ban, so we can't go out and play. As a matter of fact, the clubs cannot even train, because it's contrary to the protocols. Now here's the thing: in 2 months. In exactly 2 months from tomorrow, 22nd of November, the Champions League elimination preliminary round,
that's
even
the
that of
focus
CAF
now.
Exactly. You understand? And these guys are not training yet. They're not playing competitive matches. They're not playing friendly matches
for the league.
Yeah, that is how it has been for the past 7 years now. So
not too good, really.
The players should be given a waiver at least for now. You understand? To start preparing. Conduct the COVID-19 test, at least allow them train, allow them play, maybe even if it is a 4-team tournament amongst themselves, just to start getting them ready. They've bought so many players, they have not started training, they have not started playing matches. You don't even know the abilities of these players. What time do you have to gel this team? And the league, the commencement of the league is not yet in sight, because the PTF, they haven't given the go ahead. So at the end of the day, we need to give these guys some consideration. Take for instance Rivers United. You bring in 5-6 new players, you are not permitted to even train with them. And in 2 months, you're playing in the CAF Confederation Cup, preliminary round and what have you. So how do you even prepare this team? Is a recipe for failure already. Take it or leave it. I spoke with the Plateau United manager, Abdul Mekaba, a few weeks ago, and he complained bitterly about it, that the authorities should help them. Because the state government are saying, our target is to play in the semi-finals of the Champions League. Some of them are even saying, we want to win the Champions League for Plateau United. But the coach is telling you that we can't even train. So how are we going to win the Champions League? We have to be realistic in our targets.
Exactly.
You understand? When the authorities haven't even permitted us to train,
then we now face
let
teams
alone friendly matches,
that have been preparing.
Exactly. And these North African teams, they're still playing football. Tanzania have commenced their league about 2 weeks ago. Tanzania, they were the first to restart. They were the first to commence the new season. You understand? What are we doing here? South Africa finished their league. You understand? Egypt, Morocco, they are playing football over there. You understand? So what is happening here? So I think the authorities, they said football is going to be a business going forward. Sports generally will be a business going forward. Then it's time to look into that business critically right now, because this is the time. Time is of the essence, especially for the continental teams. Let's look inwards and see how we can also, build capacity to tackle the spread of the virus and help sports men and women to come back. The last time we played league football in Nigeria was on the 18th of March, over 6 months ago.
All right. Well, we would wait. That's all we can do. We can only just try to talk and push them to see if they can change things. Well, Manchester City get their Premier League campaign on the way with a tough trip to Molineux to face Wolves later tonight. Pep Guardiola's side lost both fixtures against tonight's opponents last season and could hardly ask for a more difficult test in their opening game. After seeing champions Liverpool claim 6 points from their first 2 matches, the pressure is on the 2019-2020 runners-up to hit the ground running. Adama Traore terrorized City's defense in both Wolves' 2-0 victory at the Etihad last October and their 3-2 triumph over the Christmas period. Guardiola will have to find a way to keep his fellow Spaniard quiet and will need summer signing Nathan Ake to be at his best following his £40 million move from Bournemouth. Aymeric Laporte is not yet fully fit after contracting the coronavirus, and Ike Gundogan is self-isolating, as I told you earlier, following a positive test, while Sergio Aguero is at least a month away from full fitness. Along with Ake, Ferran Torres is likely to be in the squad and could make the Premier League debut after swapping Valencia for Manchester last month. And to the results we saw yesterday and the day before. Everton did beat West Bromwich Albion 5-2. Leeds United were 4 goals better than the 3 scored by Fulham. Manchester United lost to Crystal Palace by 1-3. Arsenal were 2 goals better than the 1 scored by West Ham United, while Southampton lost at home to Tottenham 5-2. The away side now, Tottenham getting 5 goals. Newcastle United lost to Brighton by 3-0. Chelsea were beaten by Liverpool 2-0 at home, and Leicester City beat Burnley by 4-2 in the last game of yesterday. And tonight, Aston Villa with Jack Grealish, who just penned down a new 5-year contract, will be up against Sheffield United, while Wolves, who did beat Man City home and away last season, will be up against the Citizens. This time they will be at home, 8:15 Nigerian time. And you start asking, can Pep actually hold his own against Nuno Espirito Santo and his merry men? But Emeka, quickly, let's look at what happened yesterday. 2-0 in favor of Liverpool. How would you sum up the biggest game of the weekend?
Oh, well, brilliant performance from the Liverpool side. We saw that one coming. Put out a very strong team yesterday, and somehow they didn't disappoint. Even though their cause was helped by the red card, shown to Andreas Christensen towards the end of the first 45 minutes there. Going into the second half, they had that numerical advantage and they made it count almost immediately. Sadio Mane was unplayable yesterday. 2 goals there. One was a gift from Kepa Arrizabalaga at the end of the day. But give and take, Chelsea had an opportunity of also getting something from that encounter. Missed the penalty. Jorginho's penalty was saved by Alisson Becker. Quite uncharacteristic of Jorginho to miss penalty, but it happened. A day that is not your day.
Even Ronaldo and Messi did
exactly. It wasn't to be, and eventually eventually Liverpool running out 2-0 winners in that one. At some point, I thought it was going to be 3 or 4 goals to nothing because the way Liverpool were pressing, even when they were 2-0 up, showed a lot of intent, and somehow they were not able to eventually, make it a rout as it were. But that being said, it was a brilliant performance. But the bright side for Chelsea is that they have, a very brilliant forward in Timo Werner. Yes,
we have seen it.
He's shown flashes of brilliance yesterday. Kai Havertz is yet to settle into that team. Maybe he's been played out of position. Maybe the manager will have to look again in his team and see best way to play him. I think he's been played out of position, and his link-up play is not equally very smooth with the Werners of this world and Mason Mount and what have you. That being said, I think Liverpool deserve all 3 points yesterday, and they got it. A brilliant performance from the Jurgen Klopp side. High pressing, entertaining, kept the ball on the ground. At some point, especially when Thiago Alcantara came in, we saw Liverpool play differently from the middle instead of from the wings. He was spreading the passes and all that. Yes, he had a little blip, giving away that penalty. But luckily for him, it wasn't converted. But I think the man was brilliant yesterday. And I heard, he's the player to complete the most passes in a space of 4 minutes or so in the Premier League history. And I didn't know about that. But come on, we know what he brings to the table coming in from Bayern Munich. Even before then at Barcelona, the man he had a mercurial touch on the ball. He hardly places those passes wrong, and he has
football
an eye
with finesse.
Yeah, exactly. For openings, very visionary player, and with his inclusion in the team, you think this Liverpool can even do more than they did last season.
Well, Emeka, if we had the opportunity to see the full Chelsea team, that is Ben Chilwell, Thiago Silva, and of course Hakim Ziyech, combined with what you saw yesterday, do you think Chelsea would have beaten Liverpool?
They would have beaten Liverpool. Why? The players are yet to blend. The new boys are yet to blend with the old boys. You could see that somehow, going forward, it appeared they don't even know what they want. Are they playing on the counter? The counter wasn't smooth. It took only the brilliance of Timo Werner to even do anything at all. It didn't look like it was a team, plan to always counter each time they had the opportunity. They were not doing it very well. Each time they had that long ball, it tries to beat a man or two and take a shot. But ordinarily you expect the entire team to counter when they are doing so, because they defended too deep. They had so many men on the ball. Each time they are defending. At the end of the day, going forward, it looks like the new boys haven't really blended with the old guys. They're talking about Kai Havertz specifically. For Ben Chilwell, he will come into the team. He's not new to the Premier League, but he's new at Chelsea. You understand? So he also needs time to blend. Thiago Silva was watching from the stands. I'm sure he didn't like what he saw yesterday in terms of the Chelsea defense and what have you, but he comes with a whole lot of experience. Will his legs be able to carry him? He's 36 years of age. Will his legs be able to carry him? That's another question. Then Hakim Ziyech, will come in at some point too. Let's just see how it pans out there. But I think, at this stage, Liverpool are also beating them. Look at Liverpool side that played. Was there any new player apart from Thiago who came in the second half? They played with their strongest squad. Yeah, exactly. That they will always do on a good day. Maybe Fabinho was deployed in the defense, otherwise he will play in the midfield. But come on, it didn't make much difference. He did a yeoman's job as well in the defense yesterday, trying to cut out those moves from Timo Werner, and Kai Havertz when they came here.
All right, Emeka, let's turn our eyes to Goodison Park, not Goodison Park now, to the game between Tottenham and Southampton. Now, Heung-min Son looks like he would become the favorite son of Mourinho. Has Tottenham found their mojo after that opening day defeat against Everton?
It was a blip, on the opening day against Everton. The manager went ranting, how the players did not come to the party. They didn't like the performance. They didn't like the result and what have you. But come on, they responded stylishly against the very poor Southampton side, who have now gone 2 matches, with 2 defeats, as a matter of fact. But come on, the Spurs went down, but they were able to bounce back. 4 goals from that man you talked about, Heung-min Son. 4 assists from Hurricane as well. He's used to scoring goals. This time he turned providing 4 assists in one match. That's amazing.
And scoring one.
Yeah, scoring one as well. Good one for Spurs. Brilliant result. This kind of result, will reinvigorate the confidence. It brings back the confidence in you, sort of, And I mean, you're playing away from home. You're winning by 5 goals to 2. Brilliant one for Tottenham Hotspur and the manager, Jose Mourinho. Did you hear him complain? He wouldn't complain with that kind of result. They have Newcastle up next. Maybe they will be able to, get it right against Newcastle as well, and see how they can continue their good run this season.
All right, Emeka, let's come to what's going to be taking place or happening today. Aston Villa will be up against Sheffield United, and in the biggest game of the day, Wolves will take on Manchester City tonight. Can Pep Guardiola get it right for the 3rd time in the Premier League against Wolves?
Against Wolves. The Wolves beat them home and away last
season.
But no two games are the same. We have seen that even teams that finished the season well last time have struggled this time. Look at Manchester United, for instance. They finished they finished last season strongly, eventually still in Champions League position, finishing 3rd. Yes, they were beaten by Sevilla in the Europa League semi-finals, but coming into the new season, right there at Old Trafford, they were trashed by Crystal Palace. So it could be that the Wolves, with all their brilliance, yes, they did well last season. They secured Europa League football last season, right? And of course, against Manchester City tonight, you expect them to give City a good run for their money, or even win them, as it were. City, I think City, they have the quality, no doubt, but they also have some new players in the team. Who they would like to put into the fray. Nathan Ake, you mentioned earlier. Ferran Torres from Valencia. The man that replaced Leroy Sané. So these guys have not really blended there. You understand? That's you expect some struggle for them, but let's see how it pans out there. The manager, is a brilliant manager, Pep Guardiola, no doubt. Whether he'll be able to fashion out a winning formula for the team against Wolves later this night is left to be seen. But Wolves have shown that in Adama Traoré, they have a man that can bully Man City. They can cause problems to any team. They are no longer with Diego Jota these days, who has gone over to Liverpool. But I think Raúl Jiménez is still there. They have a lot of decent players. Yao Moutinho is there in the middle of the pack as well. So they are still a very decent bunch, and I expect a good match from this fixture.
All right, we do wish them all the best. Daniel Podence, Raúl Jiménez, and what have you. They must try to get it again against City. But let's talk about the Spanish La Liga. Villarreal were 2 goals better than the one scored by Eibar, with Samuel Chukwueze on the assist, so getting one of the assists right there. Getafe did beat Osasuna by 1-0. Celta Vigo did beat Valencia by 2-1. SG Huesca lost to Cadiz 2-0 in that encounter. Granada were 2 goals better than the one scored by Deportivo Alaves. Real Betis did beat Real Valladolid 2-0. Real Sociedad played out a goalless draw with Real Madrid, and doesn't look too good for the defending champions. But Emeka, let's start with Chukwueze. Samuel Chukwueze with an assist remains a regular starter for Jardim's side, but has Chukwueze falling below expectations over the past 12 months?
Oh, well, 2 seasons ago, he had a stellar season. Yes, he had a stellar season. So much so that a lot of people, wanted him to even move. Some clubs were making inquiries and all that. Some Premier League clubs, from what we gathered, But last season was underwhelming for him. I doubt if he scored up to 5 goals, in the entirety of last season. But it looks like he has started well so far with a goal. Last season, the team did well, but individually, you wouldn't say
he did really well last season.
Exactly. They eventually sealed the Europa League football. They were on the verge of even making it to the Champions League, but somehow Sevilla beat them to that. But at the end of the day, they will play in the Europa League, and for Chukwueze himself, I think that progression has not been there. When he had that 2018-19 wonderful performance, we were like, oh, this man should move, and we were like, this is just one season. Let's wait. The next season. The next season, it was underwhelming for him, and let's see how this particular season progresses for Osimhen. Osimhen had back-to-back good seasons from Charleroi to Lille. Switching of leagues and doing quite well too in the French Ligue 1. Brilliant for him. ensured he made that big move to Napoli. For Chukwueze, I mean, we'll talk about this too because these guys passed through the under 17 together, under 20, and they are both in the senior national team. So age mates, from youth level and all that, teammates as well. So you want to think, this while this man is progressing the other way, this man should also be doing well as well. And that's why we always complain when Kelechi Nwakale, the captain of the team when they were under 17 and under 20, is not living up to the high expectations we expected of him, as it were. But that being said, Chukwueze has not really progressed very well. But there is room for improvement. The good thing is that he's still a very young player, still learning, and he has the potential. It's a question of keeping his head down and getting consistent. It's about consistency.
All right, Emeka, goalless statement for the Real Madrid side and the opening game. Any cause for worries for Zizou?
It's still early days, just one match for Real Madrid. Barcelona are yet to play. They play this Sunday. I think they're playing Villarreal on Sunday. But for the Real Madrid side, how they won the league last season. During the restart, they won all the matches they played to guarantee the title before their final fixture, as it were. But that being said, not too much worries just yet. And the team is still intact. Unfortunately, they were not able to buy, but somehow Martin Odegaard is back in the team after his loan spell. And good news, I don't know how you look at it, for those of us who think the Super Eagles should go
Marvin
to
Marvin Akilavi, a Nigerian-born player.
Nigerian-born player. His father is actually Nigerian. His mother is from South Korea. So he eventually played yesterday. Yes, he came in the second half. Had 20 minutes of action. So let's see, how he progresses, and maybe Ron will also
look
Spain,
at
they
are not interested. We can actually
exactly. He has played for the youth side.
But he's been impressive. I mean, that's why Zinedine Zidane
gave him the debut.
Let's talk about the Bundesliga. Bayern did actually put out a flawless performance against Schalke for 8-0. It ended. Eintracht Frankfurt did play at 1-0 with Arminia Bielefeld. FC Cologne, they just got a Nigerian striker, Tolu Arokodari, did lose to Hoffenheim 2-3. Union Berlin lost to Augsburg 3-1. We hear Awoni might be on his way to that club. VfB Stuttgart.
It looks like he has sealed the move.
He's still the deal to Union Berlin.
Exactly. Okay. From Liverpool. I think it's a permanent deal now from Liverpool.
Okay. VfB Stuttgart did lose to Freiburg 2-3. And Werder Bremen were also beaten by Hertha Berlin 4-1. And Borussia Dortmund did destroy Borussia Mönchengladbach by 3-0. And on Sunday saw RB Leipzig did beating Mainz 5-3-1, and Wolfsburg played a goalless draw with Bayer Leverkusen. Emeka, Bundesliga, I've always said, though, I mean, I made a mistake last week, not like I've always said. I called it the Bayern Liga. It looks like that should just be the way to go. What a flawless performance from the European champions.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's something we are used to.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 goals against Schalke, not a newly promoted Bielefeld or something.
Very ruthless performance from the champions. Starting their title defense on a resounding note, right there. Statement of intent, a warning signal to the other teams. Last season they started poorly and picked up at some point. This season they are starting brilliantly. 8-0. Serge Gnabry with a hat-trick. Lewandowski on the score sheet as well. This is a side that anybody can win you matches. They don't depend on a particular player
get
to
you
do
the
so.
game.
If you beat Barcelona 8-2 in the quarterfinal of the Champions League, then you begin to wonder, what you will do to Schalke with all due respect to them. So they're a ruthless side. You saw what they did to Chelsea, home and away, Tottenham Hotspur, and what have you. They're a very ruthless side. When they have the opportunity to deal with you mercilessly, and we saw that one over the weekend. The season opened on Friday, 8-0. They are comfortably on top with +8 goal difference.
And Flick really doing a fine job. Lens did in the French league now. Lens did beat Bordeaux 2-1. Rennes were 2 goals better than the one scored by Monaco. Nice lost to PSG 3-0. Brest did beat Lorient 3-2. Metz were 2 goals better than the one scored by Reims, and Montpellier did beat Angers 4-1. Strasbourg beat Dijon 1-0, and Nantes did play at a 2-draw with Saint-Etienne. Marseille did play at a 1-draw with Lille. Emeka Moses Simon and Samuel Carlo on the score sheet for both Nantes and Bordeaux. Fine performance for the duo. Onyekuru got an assist too last week, not this Sunday's game, but last weekend. Bigger headache for Gernot Raw, who has to put out a list for the 2 friendlies in October. Even if we are seeing some fake lists, running around, and all that. But
well, you can't call them fake lists or Superman. These things have a way of coming out.
And they end up being the truth at the end of the day.
Exactly. Because
after he has put out, we are hearing some clubs are receiving.
Exactly. So that's how they first send invitations to the clubs to release the players for international duty. So somehow these clubs will go to Twitter and say, our players
want to celebrate our player who
exactly.
has been
Maduko Koye, his club, Sparta Rotterdam, announced he's on Twitter. So that's how he came out. Even the under 17 captain
Samson Tijani,
who plays for
RB Salzburg on loan to TSV Hartberg.
Exactly. I think he has got an invitation as well. Surprisingly, as it were. So with time, the official list will come out and we know who is there. But for the Nigerian players in France, good one for them. Samuel Carlo, who was almost out of the club.
On his way to Galatasaray.
On loan and what have you, on the score sheet, even though they eventually lost 2-1 to Lens. But for Moses Simon, who still that permanent move to Nantes, good one for him on the score sheet. Brilliant one. Onyekuru is playing football again these days. We thought it was never in the scheme of things ahead of the commencement of the season, but somehow he found his way back into the team and he's playing and even getting assists and what have you. So good one for the Nigerian players over there in France. And we will always hope for this kind of performance from our international players. Next month they play Cote d'Ivoire and Tunisia in 2 international friendlies in Austria. If you do well, definitely it will rub off in the team when you come to play international football.
0817-0000951 0810-951-0951. We've talked about a whole lot of things from boxing. Fiajagba, we see he's aiming to fight Joshua, but had to depend on the judges to get it through over Jonathan Rice. We've talked about tennis and we've also talked about football. Today's Sports Live, good afternoon to you.
Superman, I greet you.
Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, bro. Well, yesterday, if I tell you that I'm not disappointed from England referee, I was so surprised. Something that has passed, they have to call it back to make sure that they want to rub us more on the face. No problem. We'll put our house together.
Okay.
We'll make sure that to get them back what they gave it to us. If at all 50-50, Liverpool could not get one goal. They could not get a single goal. They have to go in the miles of robbing us before they get goal. Congratulations.
Who robbed you? That was a clean penalty, clean red card. It wasn't
your
a question of robbing.
You should probably be looking at the other ways now that you'd probably other ways of looking at that defeat and not just the penalty sport. Today's Sports Live for the penalty call. Today's Sports Live, good afternoon to you.
Superman.
Awesome.
Yes, yesterday, this is the maker I greet you. Liverpool was ruthless. Honestly, I felt Chelsea was evil, especially that first half. At some point, Chelsea was even going to defend. Do you know that Liverpool purposely at some point gave Chelsea that ball to come out so that they will come out and they counter them? And that was where that team was. That was a clean red card. I expect some people to praise Liverpool from the way they played, the game they played. And again, this was at the Stamford Bridge. So it's not to make noise. When somebody passed you, he passed you.
All right.
It means that they were better. And Superman, these Nigerian players these days, what is the reason why they are not able to progress to the next level? I'll take a good look at all of them. Most of them, they don't progress. Why? Why are they not progressing? Is it for, I don't know, maybe not being serious or not working harder? What is the problem?
That's a story for another day.
I lost it. I really wanted to delve into this particular issue yesterday, if not that we were talking about European football. Today's Sports Live, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Superman.
Good afternoon, Simon.
Good afternoon.
I want to join a lot to say that Liverpool and Chelsea, for now, they are not made. Liverpool thought Chelsea lesson. Yes. I think it was 8 or what said 11-11. Liverpool couldn't have scored. But what stopped even the penalty? Now red and penalty, the red card. Giving up pressure. See, let me tell you, when something happens, goal can come at any time. You don't know when goal will come. even coach that know how to read match, the only 2 seconds is enough for club for group.
All right.
So the truth here is that Chelsea are not they are not yet playing like a team.
All right, sir.
They are both of individual talent, but they have not started playing like a team. And this is that will take whether Lampard can do it or not.
All right, Simon. Thank you so much for your thoughts. Let's leave it there. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon to you.
Superman, in which point can somebody
Eto.
calm down?
Eto, don't worry. We understand how you feel about the loss, but I mean, we've gotten your thoughts. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, brother presenter.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm very happy for you. You are really trying. Your analysis is really sporting.
Your name and where you're calling us from?
This is Pusheta. I'm calling from London.
All right, go on.
Okay, let me comment on the Chelsea match. Chelsea, I think that is it a loss in just something? For now, Chelsea cannot compete with Liverpool. Liverpool are really on top. Comparing players to players, they are far better than Chelsea. Now let me go to my club Arsenal. I think Arsenal should try to do something. Let them try to buy the 2 midfielders so that I can help that team.
All right.
It will really disturb us.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your thoughts. And talking about buying players, we'll go to the transfer tidbits in a bit. Emeka, let's get some messages from the portal.
All right, this one says, good day, Emeka. Please tell Pogba, Ole, and Woodward to leave Manchester United so we know what we are doing. IK from HA sending in that one. This other one says, Manchester City cannot win the Champions League because no player in City team have ever played in the Champions League final before, and my club Liverpool have done a nice job for the new signing. Now I can see truly what my manager mean by saying we are going to attack the Premier League this season. Kenneth from Igbo Chase sending in that one. This other one here says somebody should help me tell Victor Oriai that football is not played with the mouth. No, he said if Timo Werner plays from the left against Trent, that Chelsea would win. How far now? Okay, this other one here says, okay, talking about election. Let's go to the other messages here. It says, okay, still about election.
All right, let's hit the transfer market now. Tottenham players were left stunned after England midfielder Dele Alli, who has been linked to the move to PSG, was left out of the squad, which beat Southampton on Sunday. But before that, let's tell you that Chelsea have agreed a deal with Rene to sign goalkeeper Edward Mendy. The Senegalese international is wanted by Frank Lampard to increase competition with club record £71 million signing Kepa Arrizabalaga. Kepa was at fault for Liverpool's second goal in the 2-0 Premier League defeat on Sunday, which was described as a clear mistake by Lampard. The Spanish international was also dropped last season after errors in games. So yes, I'm sure in 1 or 2 days,
another big transfer that will happen in a matter of days or perhaps hours. Arturo Vidal to Inter Milan. He's already in Italy. He started his medical with Inter, and of course he could soon be an Inter player. Lionel Messi has already bid him farewell from the club. A very, very sad one to see him leave. All part of the revolution
going on at Barca.
Yeah, exactly, from the new manager.
Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta says the club are not in negotiations with Alexandre Lacazette over a new contract. The 29-year-old French striker having less than 2 years left on his current deal. Arsenal and Germany centre-back Squadron Mustafi is the target for Lazio and Napoli, and the Gunners are open to offers. Brazil defender Alex Telles insists he's remaining focused on playing for Porto, despite being linked with a move to set to join Tottenham in wanting to sign Beijing Guan and South Korea defender Kim Min-jae. And former Manchester United midfielder Ravel Morrison is set to join Jobs Live. Good afternoon to you. Okay, we lost that call. Let's see if we can squeeze in 1 or 2 more calls, and we'll be leaving the building. Today's Sports Live, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone in the studio.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Senior from Jairus.
Let's hear you.
Okay, people are just complaining about Chelsea here, Chelsea there. When Liverpool bought Virgil van Dijk, Sadio Mane, Mo Salah, they didn't win anything. If I forget, people should remember me. So you should just give this Chelsea a break and give them time. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Today's Sports Live, good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm fine. That should be Stella West.
Yeah, it's me. I bet I agree with you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Stella West.
Yeah, I think the Liverpool Chelsea before at first half, which was 52-48. So I don't think Liverpool blow them off. That's mistake. That penalty, that's a red card. It really changed that game, honestly. Because
You join GRA Phase 2 and Peter